What's up, everyone, and welcome to Throw Like a Girl, Brooklyn College Radio's all-female sports talk show. I am KaraAnne Galante.
And I'm Alyssa Paolicelli.
So now, today, I'm going to read you some top story headlines. President Obama is set to ask for new war powers in the fight against the Islamic State, while one person is dead following a multi-vehicle wreck in New Jersey, and the Grammys post their lowest television ratings in several years. In sports, the Spurs rally from behind to give coach Greg Popovich win number 1,000. Plus, in college hoops, number 4 Duke survives against Florida State. So since this is a sports talk show, we are going to talk about how Spurs coach earns 1,000th win. So in sports, the Spurs rally from behind to give coach Greg Popovich win number 1,000. Marco Bellinelli hits a baseline jumper with 2 seconds left to give San Antonio a 95-93 victory over the Indiana Pacers. Popovich has earned all of his wins with one team, the Spurs. Now, thank you everyone for tuning in to Throw Like a Girl Radio here on Brooklyn College Radio, 1090 AM simulcast on mywbcr.com. We have a great show for you today, lots to talk about. Here are today's top stories. Chris Paul says something demeaning about a female ref. It's that time of year again. Players start reporting to spring training. Plus, the Rangers have lost back-to-back games without the King. Does this mean trouble for the Blue Shirts? And a disgruntled Knicks fan sends a letter to James Dolan. How does Dolan respond back? Okay, Alyssa, what would you like to start off with?
I think we should handle the Chris Paul scandal, if it is a scandal, first. I'm going to pull up the clip of what he said. So basically, if you don't know what happened, he was playing in Los Angeles against Cleveland. They lost 105-94. And when trying to inbound the ball quickly, one of the female refs, Lauren Holtkamp, I believe that's how you say her name. There's only 2 female refs in the NBA, and this is her first season of being fully employed by the NBA. So she gave him a technical when he questioned her whistleblowing at the quickly inbounded ball. So in a post-game conference, he made a comment about her place on the court and whether or not she would be prepared. She is prepared for the job. So I'll play you that clip now, but you can imagine how this type of clip has been, covered constantly in the past week ever since it's happened. So let me get that up for you.
It was ridiculous. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what she say. That's terrible. Yeah. There's no way that can be a tech. We try to get the ball out fast every time down the court. Yeah. And when we did that, she said, and I said, why, and she gave me a tech. Okay. That's ridiculous. Yeah. If that's the case, then this might not be for her.
So as you can see, he makes that comment at the end, this might not be for her. And now everyone is saying, how could he say such a thing about, a female already being in such a male-dominated industry? And I'm just curious, since this is an all-female sports talk show, I'm curious, Kara, what do you think about the instance?
Well, I think since it was about a female, that it's blown out of proportion in a way. Chris Paul has been known for saying things to the refs, and he has been fined a couple of times for unsportsmanlike conduct. In 2011, he was fined $15,000 when he was with the New Orleans Hornets for verbally abusing a referee. So this is not new for Chris Paul.
I agree. He was fined $25,000, which is not because it was about a female referee. This is a league rule that is for public criticism of an official. So this is something that is standard, set in stone, happens every time, this instance occurs. However, I do think, first of all, $25,000 is a little excessive to be questioning a ref or an official. I don't know. I think that's a lot of money for something that happens so often in games, But I do think that a lot of people are throwing this out of proportion. I mean, I think part of it is we're not big basketball people I'm not big into the technical rules, the fouls, like what do you get a foul for, what you don't get a foul for.
Yeah.
But I do think it's kind of a combination of her trying to, lay down the law, being like, I know this just as well as the guy down the court who is a male, and
she
it's
was
her
making a statement.
Exactly. But I also do think there's that end of it, and Chris Paul needs to know as a public person, as a sports figure that these comments, these loaded comments, are going to get picked up. They are going to get misconstrued, whether you mention or not.
Yeah, because now also Chris Paul is the Players Union president. So
right, and he appointed the executive director, Michelle Roberts, who is obviously a female from her name, Michelle.
Yeah.
And she has spoken on his behalf since the incident, saying that this is not his character. He does not, say things about women in this way. He doesn't demean their character. So I just think it was a result of frustration on the part of Chris Paul and just everyone, constantly trying to find controversy in something that a player says,
It was the heat of the moment, and, when you're a competitive guy like Chris Paul is, you say things that you didn't mean to say. And also, I read that Becky Hammon, who is also a San Antonio Spurs assistant coach, she defended Chris Paul by saying, I don't think it had anything to do with the ref's gender. So it's just him disrespecting a ref, and that's why he got fined for it.
I hope that he's not saying this because she's a female. I don't think I'm usually the first person to be like, yeah, he said it because it was a female. I have that, that woman pride in me, but women in sports particularly. But I do think that this was, has some type of malice behind it.
Yeah, it was just that last line. That was the big thing. Anything else, I think.
Right. I think he would have said it about a male official as well.
He said it before about a male official, so it's just in him.
I'm just shocked that $25,000 is the fine for that. Completely shocked.
Because last time it was $11,000, so
which is I think still kind of a lot of money. I mean, not for these guys, but
it's probably in his pocket. Here's $25,000 for you.
It sounds like a lot of money.
Yes, so
talking about a lot of basketball today.
I know.
This is weird.
I know it is. I don't feel comfortable talking about this, but we gotta do it. We gotta do. All right, so what's next? Do you think we should talk about Alyssa?
How about Kara told me an interesting story yesterday that I wasn't aware of about a James Dolan letter.
Yes. All right, so I know the Knicks have not been playing well this season, and there's a lot of angry Knicks fans. So one angry Knicks fan who has been a fan since 1952, he's a filmmaker, Aaron Bierman. He wrote an email to Dolan expressing his dissatisfaction with the Knicks and how he has been working with the team and things like that. He was saying that he should be fired, he should leave the team.
He should keep his hands out of the basketball operations portion of it.
He was even talking about James Dolan. We all know he has an addiction to alcohol, and he even brought that up in his letter. So he was saying that sell them so their fans can at least look forward to growing them in a positive direction. Obviously, money is not the only thing. You have done a lot of utterly stupid business things with the franchise. Please, no more. He's begging James Dolan to step down. And James Dolan just simply replied, and this is the last sentence of the letter, which was funny.
The letter was very rude. For someone who makes money off of fans like this, who makes a ton of money, nonetheless. That was a very rude email.
Yeah, and his response back, which I thought was the best line out of this whole thing. In the meanwhile, start rooting for the Nets because the Knicks don't want you.
I will never understand why, coaches, players, owners get so mad over things like this. Like, the Knicks are not doing well. This season is down the tubes. There's nothing to savor it.
Yeah, the only positive thing is the All-Star game.
Exactly, and that just happens. And he's making money off of that too because he owns the Garden.
Yes, he knows what he's doing, James Dolan. But do you think it was necessary for him to respond to this fan in such a way?
No, I don't, because like I said, he's making a ton of money off of people like him. I'm sure his family probably contributes to his James Dolan's profit.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm feeling a little under the weather today. But also, we have to remember that fan is short for fanatic.
Yes, it is.
There is so much. Sports is just a weird thing where people are so emotionally invested in it. Communities are invested in it. It's a very weird concept that I think it's fascinating to be. And like sometimes I look at myself and I'm like getting so angry when the Rangers can't score on a power play. But I'm like, This is what I care about. So I understand where this guy is coming from. Would I ever write a letter to him? I don't think so. That's not my personality. But
yes, but I think I would write a letter. I'm sorry. I'm just that type of fan that will write a letter. But I don't think there's a bunch of Knicks fans who are angry with him, and I don't think there should have been the response. He should never responded.
I'm surprised he even responded.
I know, me too. He probably gets a bunch of emails a day, and he probably just chose this one out of nowhere and was like, "See, Knicks fans, I'm gonna respond to your aggressiveness."
How many people write letters to a bunch of like athletes and things like that, and unfortunately they don't answer, but that's because I'm assuming that he gets more emails during the day than just
Dolan has like I bet he has a bunch of better things to do than email a Knicks fan saying, start rooting for the Nets, we don't need you. I would respond in a positive way if I was the owner. Like, I know we haven't been doing well this season, like with the Mets and Sandy
look forward to next year. We're building the team. We're building the team.
Look at the positives with this.
Look at the youth, things like that. The cliches that are used in Citi Field and Shea Stadium for years.
Yes, and we're still there supporting you. But, I feel like James Dolan should have just tried to bring this guy's spirits up, because there's a lot of disgruntled Knicks fans, and I don't think he should have answered an email that way.
I agree. It's kind of similar to what happened to Geno Smith earlier in the year. As happened? He was walking off the field, he gave the finger to some of the fans, yelling probably things like, "You suck," like, you can't get the job done, things like that. Yeah. So, and he did get fined. I mean, James Dolan is not going to get fined.
And if he does get fined, it's really like pocket
I just don't
money.
understand how you take on the role of being in this public light and not expect people not being able to please everyone, because you can't.
Yeah. And he's probably gotten these emails for years, but why do you respond now? Because the Knicks haven't been a playoff team in many years, so I don't know.
And why would you tell them to go to your geographically rival team, the Nets?
Yeah.
Like, they already are presenting you some problems, I'm sure, with, bringing basketball back to in like the New York sense. Basketball in New York is supposed to be big and huge, and I'm sure that them moving to Brooklyn has done that. But why would you turn away your fan? I just don't understand that at all.
You want the fans, and you want them to feel proud of their team, and you want to promise that something good is going to happen in the future. But sending hate mail back is not
the answer.
Yeah, it's definitely not the answer, James Dolan. So next time, just ignore the hate mail. We don't need this
Everyone
big
has
story.
some haters. Everybody has them.
Yeah, they do. Trust
so
us
let's
on
move
that.
into some more familiar waters with us. Talk a little bit of spring training.
Yeah, spring training.
Not quite yet, but almost. 9 days from today, pitchers and catchers report to... Well, what we'll be talking about is Port St. Lucie, which is where the facility is that the Mets practice in the off-season.
Yes.
And just the one quick topic I want to touch on before we go to a break is Matt Harvey. Clearly, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Yes, he is.
He ended the season last year with a 9-5 record, just over 2 ERA, struck out 191 batters.
Which isn't that bad, I gotta say.
No, I mean, hopefully he will come back to the dominant place that he had left at, because
Tommy John surgery.
Yes.
It's a really hard process and long process to fully heal from it.
And I saw a bunch of pictures today from various Mets beat reporters who are down in Port St. Lucie, and they have a picture of Wheeler, DeGrom, Harvey, all lining up.
Oh, our top three starters.
Yeah, it's the new big three in town. That's so exciting. I can't wait for baseball season to start, because I'm really looking forward to watching those guys pitch.
Yeah, me too. Let's just hope they fulfill our hopes, because a lot of times the media just explodes on this, and then when they play in real life, you're just like, what happened? What happened to these guys?
Always next year. It's like that's always, what Mets fans are always like. It's always next year.
I've been waiting till next year. When is next year?
I don't know.
This
year, I always say this, but this year, despite my, rose-colored glasses that I have towards the Mets, I do have ESPN stats to back me up on their, projected success for this year.
Yeah, and the Mets have been, their pitching has been pretty well. Their starters have been pretty well. We had DeGrom, who won the National League Rookie of the Year.
Roy.
Yes, he won the Roy. And we also, I think, 2 years ago, R.A. Dickey won the Cy Young.
I think it was 3 or 4, because he's been in Toronto for a little while. But yeah, he won the Cy Young.
And then we had Jose Reyes, who won the Silver Slugger. So
and Juan Lagares, he won Golden Glove.
Golden Gloves. And we've had successful players, but it just hasn't come together for us.
I think this year will, because we have a lot of promising youth. I'm hoping that they make a move to get a shortstop within the season before,
Yeah, me too.
They're not going to do it now, obviously. It's too close to spring training. They're going to start focusing on developing Flores in that position.
Yes, I heard Wilmer Flores was going to be starting shortstop for us, for the New York Mets. But we'll see what happens this year. We have a long way, I feel like, until opening day.
Too long, because then opening day comes.
Yes.
Nice weather comes. We go
Yes.
back to work.
Yes,
which is
we
always
do,
good.
which I'm very excited about. I can't wait to go back to work. But it's gonna be a while. But we just hope the Mets have a good season this year. And also, I have to say, I know there's Yankee fans listening. I hope that your team does somewhat decent this year. But
yeah, I want to bring that Subway Series rivalry back
Yes.
to its peak, because that was always fun.
I know, but because now it's just.
It's
I don't
just
know, when the
another
Subway
it's just
Series,
another 3
yeah.
games that, even if you notice going to we're going a little bit over time here, but
I know, sorry.
even it's okay if you notice even working at the games from when I first started, because you've only been there at the City Field for a year.
Yeah, I've only
right?
been there for a year.
So I started there about 4 years ago, and just noticing the decline in, especially this year, in just attendance at these Subway Series games is
It's
really
been
intense.
horrible.
Like, those games used to be mandatory to work. Like, everyone had to report to on those days.
Yeah.
This past year, it wasn't even, because the Yankees weren't doing that great,
Yeah.
the Mets weren't doing that great, and there was just no draw to the stadium for it.
Yes, so we have to increase on this rivalry. People, come on, Mets and Yankee fans, come out to Citi Field or Yankee Stadium for the Subway Series for this year. Okay, so right now we are going to take a break.
A little break. So, thank you again for tuning into the second episode of Throw Like a Girl Radio here on Brooklyn College Radio every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. If you want to call in for our next segment, it's going to be about hockey. The number is 718-951-4444. We'll be right back after Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. Enjoy.
For them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop. Skip it. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Before we leave, let me tell y'all a little something. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. I said uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sled and flown it. If you freak dead and own it. Don't brag about it, come show me. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sled and flown it. Well, it's Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe it, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch.
and welcome back to Throw Like a Girl. So, we're going to start off this NHL segment with a funny story that actually happened with Evander Kane and the Winnipeg Jets. Well, Evander Kane violated the Jets' dress code while he came to a team meeting that was actually at the
arena that they play at, yeah.
Yes, at the arena. He came in with, like, what is it, like a tracksuit.
Which is apparently a violation of, well, you know, hockey players, you always see them before pre-games. They're walking in with their suits. They look all nice.
Yes, they look presentable.
Yeah.
And he comes in with the tracksuit. The members of the team got very angry with him. And because Evander Kane thought that it was going to be at the training facility, the meeting, instead of at the arena. And
which
that's
apparently there's obviously a dress code difference, which I don't understand, but okay.
Yeah, and the dress code at the training facility was to wear, that you can wear anything you want. So the team members got angry at this, and as a result, he threw one of his suits into the shower. And this has been a big story apparently in the NHL.
It was Dustin Bufuglin who threw the clothes in the shower, correct?
Yes, and it was like a group, but there was a group of Winnipeg Jets. It wasn't just like him. It was just a little
Maybe it was a consensus to be like, okay, we're all going to go behind you and throwing the clothes in the shower.
Yeah, so Evander Kane got so angry about this that he didn't bother showing up to the game against the Vancouver Canucks.
Which is his hometown.
Yes.
Which he, I believe, was healthy. It was a healthy scratch for that game.
Yes, it was a healthy scratch.
And then he decided just not to come at all.
Yes, because the coach tried to get in touch with him, was calling him up, and he answers his phone like 10 minutes before the game, and he just didn't bother showing up.
I'm just not going to come.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
You know, I'm Evander Kane. I can do anything I want, apparently. So
I just think this is kind of funny because when do you really ever hear the Winnipeg Jets in hockey news?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's really bad to say, but
you
never, especially from being a Canada team, you would think that they would just have more prominence. They really don't.
No, they don't. You're right about that. And this put them on TSN and ESPN, this big story. But do you think Evander Kane's, how he's been acting is, could be justified by what he did?
No. I never understand why players do this. You've been playing this sport your entire life. You are well aware that this is a team sport and that there are rules. Because, you know, especially this dress code policy, whether he thought it was at the arena or not, it's your job to know. Number one, you should know where your meetings are. You work from October to May. If you work to May, so like that's only 6 months, however long it is.
Yeah.
You should just be able to follow the rules during that time. And second of all, like, you've always had to dress up, even in Little League.
Yeah,
Little League, AHL, college, you have to dress up going to the games. That is just something that's...
Because you're representing the team.
Right, this is just some type of, like, hockey tradition, hockey rules. They have these since when, you know, the little kids do the same thing. Like, I had family friends who their kids dress up. They're 3 years old. They're wearing suits to, like, for their practices. You know what I mean? Like, they do this. So the fact that he didn't know what he should have dressed like, he didn't know where the meeting was, that just shows the inability to care about the team, number one.
Yeah.
I just think that he's been a nightmare there for a long time. He's been a nightmare in the locker room. He's been a nightmare in the the stands for the fans. Like, they just don't want him there anymore.
No, they don't. And also, if he was a team player, because the team has been complaining about him, he's very independent, Evander Kane. He's very to himself. He doesn't really go out to dinner or to team dinners and goes out to team dinners with them. He's very to himself and does what he's got to do.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it is fine. But, like, when it comes to
other things, like, you don't want to always be like that.
No, and like, I read that he's always like that, and the team has been getting angry because Evander Kane is a young guy, and he's not like, he's not really, he's kind of like a veteran because he's been playing for a couple of years.
He was a star his first year. He scored like 30 goals in 70 games.
He was 18 years old when he started.
Right.
So he's young, he's immature, just like some other people in the league, some hockey players in the league. But what Evander Kane did, I don't think should be justifiable. And also, I feel like if he was a team player and the guys liked him and that happened, I don't think they would have done that to him.
Exactly.
You know?
This has obviously been something, it was a boiling point.
Yeah,
this has
like
been something that's been happening over time. And now that he's out 4 to 6 months with a shoulder surgery, and on the break, me and Kara were actually talking, I asked her, I was like, do you actually think that this surgery is necessary at this point?
Yeah.
Because is it just something to be like, okay, now we don't have to worry about him being in the facilities, coming to practice, things like that. But as Kara had mentioned, he does have somewhat of an injury-starred career ever since his first season.
Yeah, he's been playing with this injury for a while, and as I've been reading, and some old hockey players have been saying that this is the most painful injury. Is
it a separated shoulder?
Yeah, it says he has been playing with and battling through myriad injuries this season. I'm not really a doctor, so I don't know what that means.
I'm not big on anatomy. But.
Yeah, so we know it's the shoulder. So he's going to be out for the season.
And they are going to look to trade him
ASAP.
Because
the team
But who is
going
to want that? That's another thing. Like, why would you want excuse me.
Yeah.
Why would you want someone who has this effect in the locker room?
I feel like with Evander Kane, this could be a wake-up call, too, because remember, I'm going to talk about Tyler Seguin with the Boston Bruins.
That's true.
You know,
same thing.
How he got traded to Dallas Stars. Now look at him. He's more mature. He's actually woke up. That was a reality check for him. And
I hope so, because I hate to see when young players like this have this type of attitude. But one other thing about Evander Kane's game is he does have that enforcer type role on his team.
Yes.
Which I guess kind of speaks to the personality he's bringing to in the locker room, but you're not supposed to be an enforcer in your own locker room. But
yes.
That role is dying around the league. Like just the straight for that the NHL is taking from the physicality of the game might impact his marketability on the trade in the trade world.
Because you want a guy in the locker room who gets along well with their teammates, and this guy could be a nuisance to the team and someone who actually causes rifts in the locker room, and we don't want that. And Winnipeg obviously does not want that. And
so it should be interesting to see how this all fares.
Yes,
to the next. I mean, especially nothing's gonna happen by the end of the season, because 6 months from now, I don't think Winnipeg's not making the playoffs. Yeah. At least right now they're not.
No, they're not.
So they're not gonna have a postseason. So he's not gonna be back in time for it.
No, he's not, and this is gonna take a while for him to heal. And he's 23 years old, so he has a lot of hockey left in him.
Right.
Let's just hope he grows up and
has an attitude adjustment, first of all.
Yes, because people are saying he's immature, he lacks good judgment, so he kind of needs to grow up now in this industry. So, also, speaking about injuries.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I've been
a rough
to say
week.
This. Yes, it has. For us New York Ranger fans, the King is down. Ladies and gentlemen, the King is down.
The backbone of the Rangers is broken.
Yes. He is hurt. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks.
At least.
Yes.
That's the scariest part. At least. That means that there is room for more time for him not to be on the ice.
Yes, 3 to 4 weeks with a vascular injury. So what does vascular injury mean, Alyssa? Do you?
I heard not to look up it up on Google Images. According to Twitter, people were looking it up. Some of my Rangers fan followers are saying, don't look it up if you're queasy, and I'm queasy, so I didn't look it up. But it is an injury to, well, I don't know if anyone doesn't know the play.
Yes.
What happened was, it's kind of McDonough's fault. I mean, he was trying to make a defensive play, so stuff like that happens in hockey.
It was accidental, yes.
But on the 31st, I believe they were playing Columbus, right?
I think it was against Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, Carolina, yes, Carolina. They were playing another C town.
Yes, we were close.
Yeah.
But it was Carolina Hurricanes. That's when he got hurt.
So McDonough was in front of him trying to block a shot, make a defensive play, and the back of his stick lifted up the neck part of Lundqvist's mask.
Yes, and that's a very vulnerable area. It's not protected at all.
Which made the opportunity for a shot on goal to hit him in the neck.
Yes, one of the Carolina Hurricanes shot, and the puck
hit him right in the neck.
Perfect spot, really.
Yeah, I mean, after the All-Star game, and I was, watching the hardest shot.
Yeah.
And they're like 80 miles an hour. Like, those things go so fast. Like,
yes.
He was on the ice squirming, and that's just always a scary sight when you see a player. Never mind, you see Henrik Lundqvist, the king of New York City, on the floor like that. It's a very scary sight. It kind of reminds me of when Mark Stahl got hit.
Oh my God! From
in
behind,
the eye.
Yeah.
Remember when? And he was like bleeding, and everyone thought that his career was over.
I thought he was dead, to be honest. When he hit that floor, I was like, oh my God! I just witnessed this. But announcers Joe McGlinny and Sam Rosen, they said that they've never heard the Garden so silent before. When Henrik Lundqvist got hit in the neck, it was just dead silent.
Everyone holding their breath, like,
yes,
please
and praying.
Because not for nothing, us Ranger fans have been extremely lucky with injuries to Henrik Lundqvist.
Yes, we have been.
Had very, knock on wood. There's no wood in here, but I will be knocking on wood when I get out of here. How his injuries have been very few and far between.
Yeah,
thank God. So, he's out 4 to 6 weeks now, and that means that Cam Talbot will be. Actually, let's just go back to the injury. I forgot.
Yeah,
that he completely finished that game against Carolina, which they won.
Yes.
And then came back 2 nights later.
Yeah,
so it was on
played the
Saturday. He
Panthers.
played Monday night.
Yes.
Against
You're right.
Florida, which
Yes.
they also won. But he played another full 60 minutes.
Yes, and doctors said if he would have played more, the I think it was an artery or something in his neck would have clogged, and he would have had a stroke. So
that's so scary.
thank God the doctors caught it in time and told him, Hank, you got to stop playing.
I mean, it was also
gotta sit
smart
down.
on his because like this whole concussion contact thing that's circulating around all sports.
Yes.
You know, it's up to more than half of it is up to the player to recognize the problem. So the fact that he went to the medical staff and was like, listen, I'm having headaches after the Florida game
Yeah.
is great, but it also is really scary because what if he didn't say that?
Yeah.
He probably would have started.
Because we know how Hank is, how he's so competitive, and he has this competitive spirit, and no matter what, he would do it even if his hip was broken or something happened
Exactly.
to him. He would have stayed in that game no matter what. And thank God he had some sense to say, I'm getting headaches, I'm not feeling well, we got to check this out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm so happy that he caught that because
Yeah.
now it has actually given room for the stage for Cam Talbot.
Yeah, and also I just want to make one more point. Okay, Ranger fans, it's not the end of the world that Henrik Lundqvist is hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a lot of things on social media saying the Rangers are done for the season. It's over. And I think these are the fans who became fans in 2014 during the Stanley Cup run. I just had to take that out and say that. But
because the Rangers do just play better defense and play smarter hockey in front of Cam Talbot because
Yeah,
they
they
know
do.
that they don't have not that they don't trust Cam, but like they know that Henrik Lundqvist stands on his head 99% of the
yes,
time.
and they know Henrik Lundqvist, he's a Vezina Trophy winner. He's an amazing goalie. But now with Cam Talbot in, I trust him. I know the Rangers have lost 2 in a row, but honestly, it was not Cam's fault.
Sorry, guys. A little communication issue there.
Yeah.
So, no, I totally agree with you. I think that let's just pull up I have some stats here for Cam because
Yeah.
he's done. He's been a very reliable backup goalie.
No, he has been. Like, I have full confidence in him, but it's just the Rangers have to back him up, too.
Right, because I honestly think the problem really, except for the game against, when was the game where they scored?
The 2 goals in the last.
That was Dallas.
That was Nashville was the 2 goals
in
at the
90
end
seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
That's when he just totally.
But
lost
that
it
was,
there.
I think that was more of a defensive screw up than anything else.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a defensive breakdown within 90 seconds. 2 defensive breakdowns within 90 seconds.
Yes, and that's what the Rangers do. And, like, the Rangers do that a lot, but Cam Talbot's in net, we got to remember, not Henrik Lundqvist. So we got to make sure about that. And also against the Dallas Stars game, there was one
Which
goal.
Kara was at.
Yes,
by the
I
way.
was at the game. But there was one goal, I think it was the second goal, and it just dribbled right between Cam Talbot's legs. And it's like, you got to have that, Cam. You cannot do these little fluky, lazy goals. You got to have that.
I agree. I think that's one of the goals he should have had, and I'm sure he wishes he can get back. But I think that also things like that come with experience.
Yes, and
he has enough to prove to us that he is a reliable backup, but it's not enough to be like, okay, I'm going to make these plays consistently all the time, every single time.
And you know what? I just want to say one thing. You know what I found interesting? I was watching the post game, and Al Trodwick, SC Valak had a question, like, how does it feel to be a backup goaltender? Like,
I saw that.
Yeah, and then
he was like,
Valak's like, we don't use the word backup.
Yeah, like that term is like kind of offensive, I would assume, in the way he reacted to that.
Yeah, and I looked at Valakhead, and I was just thinking, well, Valakhead he was a Rangers backup goalie, but he wasn't really that well with the Rangers. He hasn't played that well. So I just got to say, you're a backup goalie, and just play like you're a starter.
And I know this is a scary thought for many Rangers fans. Like, the era without Lundqvist in a blue shirt is very scary for all of us to think about. I mean, It was especially scary when the end of the 2013 season, I believe, when John Tortorella was fired.
Yeah.
But at the end of that season, before the Rangers announced that Tortorella was fired, Lundqvist was like, he didn't make any
comment.
He didn't make a comment about returning to New York because his contract was up. It was right before he signed that 7-year contract.
Yes.
He was like, oh, I'll have to talk to my agent and figure things out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that everyone was like, oh my God, we can't live without Henrik
And then
Lundqvist.
what did the Rangers do because of that comment?
And they signed him up for the rest of his NHL career.
And they fired Torts as a result too,
which I also think was an ultimatum, but that's another topic.
Yes,
I think that was Lundqvist was like, listen, I'm only staying if he's gone.
We could talk about that when there's no NHL games going on because I have a lot to say about that too. So what are the stats about Talbot? Let's bring that up.
So he's played only sorry, let me find this. So he where are they? Okay, so I actually found this interesting interesting graphic from one of the blogs that I follow. I can't. I'll give credit to it next week when I remember where what blog I got it from. But it basically is comparing Lundqvist, Price, Rask, Thomas, and Pecorine.
Okay.
On their year, their full strength shots and full strength goals, and their save percentage on this. And Tim Talbot is right up there with all of the rest of them in their prime. Like he has faced this year only 260 shots, has allowed 20 goals. That's only a 92.3 save percentage.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
And then last year he faced 465 shots and only allowed 28 goals.
Okay.
So that's like a pretty impressive stat. And just to put that into comparison with Lundqvist in his 2005-2006 season, he faced 998 shots, allowed 71 by.
Okay.
So, so that's just a little context. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, okay, he obviously has the stature to play. I think that the Rangers have a star goalie as their backup, which is a great problem for us to have.
They do. And remember last year when Lundqvist, doesn't do well in the beginning of the season, and you see Cam Talbot in, and Lundqvist was talking about, the contracts and things like that, and you see Cam Talbot, and people are like, Lundqvist too? Because Talbot was playing, he was on point, and he was starting for us for most of the beginning of the season, a lot before Lundqvist signed his new contract with us. And, I think have faith in Cam, guys. Have faith in the goal.
In Cam we trust.
Yes,
that seems to be a hashtag I see on Twitter. Hashtag in Cam we trust.
Yes,
so,
Cam. So guys,
join the conversation.
Yes. So Ranger fans, please do not jump out of a window because Henrik Lundqvist isn't playing. Because Cam Talbot, he's also recorded 3 shutouts and 14 appearances this season, guys.
Which is awesome. Explaining what I said before.
Yeah.
He can play with the league's elite, at least as of now.
Yes, he can. It's just these past 2 games, we've just been giving up horrible goals, and our defense has just been...
Our defense is a big problem.
It is a big problem. We're consistent half of the game, and then a couple of minutes in a game, we just die out, and I just don't know.
I think that we expected a lot more from Dan Boyle, and I think it's a combination of us expecting a certain level of play and getting a different type, and him not being comfortable yet with the system. Because if you think about it, he only has played the last 3-4 months.
Yeah,
when
he
wasn't
hurt.
with injury or wasn't sick or didn't
and
have.
Plus, he's not a young guy, guys. But we do expect a lot from. We expect a lot
needs
from
to carry the
Matt
defense.
Marty San Louis.
He has 11-game goal drought.
Yeah,
11
that's
games.
what I was just gonna say. Hello, what are you? I know you're short, MSL. I know it's hard to see you on the ice, but you haven't been producing as much.
And I read a stat that made my stomach turn the other day.
What?
I think Callahan has 16 goals and Boyle has 11. Brian Boyle, the guy who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, has 11 goals this season, which makes me so upset.
No, it makes me upset too. But you know what? We don't need you guys. We made it to the Stanley Cup last year. We don't need you, Cal. We don't need you, Boyle. I have to say it. We got our team. We're a good team. We need
a few defensive upgrades.
Yeah. When we click, we're amazing. That West Coast trip, I still keep going back to that. We won every single game, and I don't know why we can't beat the Dallas Stars, the Nashville Predators. I don't know why we can't beat these teams, but we beat the West.
Yeah, and the West is always a faster, usually a better conference.
Yeah, there are better teams out there, and it's frustrating. I know Ranger fans that we see our boys play like this, but we'll get better. And Zuccarello needs to wake up. I keep saying it. He keeps passing. Yes. He needs to shoot.
Oh my God, the game against Dallas. What was he thinking? He made a back pass.
I know. I was.
Who makes back pass on a breakaway? I don't understand.
Was screaming, shoot. I think he was going to pass it to Brassard or something. And I was like, Zook, you got to stop. I know you have a lot of assists this year, but you could have had more goals than assists. And we
talked about it a little bit last week about his chemistry. Maybe he's not clicking with his line. But I have one final question before we go to a quick break.
Yes.
So there's about 9-10 games, I believe, if I counted correctly, that including the past 2 that just happened, that Cam will be the goalie for.
Yes.
Do you think that the Hartford pull-up, Mackenzie, what's his last name?
Skapski? Yeah.
Do you think he'll get a game?
No, I don't think he'll get a game. I think he's just there. God forbid. I don't even want to say it. Knock on wood. God forbid something happens to Cam Talbot these next 3 to 4 weeks he will play. But I think Skapski's just there just to watch and have an amazing NHL experience on the bench watching these games. And also, Benny Allaire, who doesn't get enough credit as the Rangers goaltending coach, he's probably going to put Mackenzie in shape and make him into an amazing goaltender during these past 3 to 4 weeks.
I kind of hope he gets one game just to see what he has.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't think he will either.
No, he's a young guy. I think he just got drafted like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe?
he's our age, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
that always
look at
makes
us.
me feel so bad.
I know,
like,
me too.
oh my God, this guy's like in the NHL, and I'm just sitting here watching his interview. Like, okay.
I know. I'm like, oh, Anthony Duclair, you're 19 years old.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a 20-year-old college student.
On a Brooklyn College radio, like just
Yes,
trying to.
which we're not saying anything bad. It's awesome that we get to voice
Yeah,
our
no.
opinion. But
Not at all.
it's just like what
Put
did
in
we do
context
with our
next to
lives?
that, I'm like,
Yes,
oh, okay.
Like, should I have played a sport, like taken sports more seriously? And like I could have been a star softball player, but So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna listen to Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, and then we're gonna end the show. So hope you guys enjoy.
Still smile from your cheeks, darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just the touch of a hand. Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day. And I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud. Maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all but gone and my memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name. When my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow old, it's evergreen. And baby, your smile's forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. And maybe it's all part of a plan. Well, I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. But baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are.
All right, guys, welcome back to Throw Like a Girl Radio here on Brooklyn College Radio, 1090 a.m., simulcast on my WBCR. We're going to finish up the show right about now with our final our picks for tonight's games. Just make sure you tune in to the Rangers at Toronto, correct?
Yes, 7:30 tonight, guys. Not a 7:10 start. 7:30.
So yeah, hopefully that'll be a fun game to
Yeah,
watch.
let's hope we win against Toronto for the first time this season. It's our last game against them for this whole season. So let's end it off on a bang.
And pay
right?
attention to Mike, what's his name? Mike Scantarelli, something. The last name Eli. He possibly could be someone they're looking at on the trade market before the trade deadline. So see if you like
Mike
it.
Santarelli?
I don't think that's his last name, but it sounds like that.
Right.
We talked about it last week. I
Yes,
said his name
yes.
last week, and I can't think of it right
If
now.
it sounds Italian, the Rangers are interested.
Yeah, so take a look at him, see if you like him or not.
Yes. So also tonight, there's also a couple of games in the Metropolitan Division. So Alyssa, who do you want to win? Islanders versus Oilers. Who do you think is going to win tonight?
I think the Islanders are going to win.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Oilers. I know they're not that good of a team, but they beat the Devils
That's
last
true.
night.
And the Islanders have lost their last few.
Yeah.
I mean, they won their recent two, but before that, they
Yes.
lost 4 in a row, I think.
So the Islanders are coming back to reality, ladies and gentlemen. So
The order in the world has been restored.
yes, so they're coming back, coming down to earth. All right, and the last game is the Flyers at Montreal Canadiens. So
Montreal.
Montreal?
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm going to go Montreal too.
Yeah.
So I hope tonight the Rangers beat the Maple Laughs.
That's a good one. I never
See
heard
what
of
I
that
did
one.
there? Yes. I usually call them Maple Laughs, and we'll see you guys
Next week, yep.
Yeah,
So
next Tuesday, same time.
just give you a reminder to tune into us next Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. every Tuesday here on Brooklyn College Radio, Throw Like a Girl Radio. And don't forget tomorrow to check out my friend Brian McGee on The Good Vibe from 7 to 8, and then Thursday, Heat and Ace Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. Hope you guys have a great week. It's a long weekend, too, actually.
Yeah, it
because
is.
it's
We're off
President's
Thursday.
Day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got, 4 days off, guys?
Yeah.
So enjoy your mini vacation. And,
Enjoy the NBA All-Star Game if that's your thing.
Yeah.
And watch some hockey if it's not.
yes, and remember, also, I just found this out. I just saw a commercial, and they're playing at the Barclays Center. There's, like, the skills competition at the Barclays Center, and then they're going to play at the Garden. So I
Yeah.
did not know this. I thought the
Yesterday,
whole
Kara
thing
in
was there.
class was looking up tickets to the skills competition for the basketball game.
I thought it was going to be, like, $50, and when I saw $449 for the worst seat in the house, no thank you, guys. I will sit at home and watch whatever I'm watching, the basketball game.
Anything else, right?
Yes, so, all right, guys, we'll talk next week.
See you next week.